I'm back in my usual spot and I'm reviewing Children of Morta. Hey, welcome back. I'm back in the decorated room. As you can see, this wall is slightly pinky orange and it's nice and it means I can have all my lovely figures back up. But enough about me, this is about Children of Morta. So Children of Morta is essentially a kind of top-down action RPG game which focuses around a family who are fighting to get their world back against this evil darkness. And that's kind of the base story. You have to explore, the whole aim is getting through dungeons to find these spirits who will help you cleanse the world, get the light back sort of thing. But the story really focuses around the family that you're playing as. In every kind of dungeon you complete or chapter, you go back to the house and there's a nice little tidbit of story. Something will happen between the characters, and eventually these storylines, interactions lead to you unlocking more characters. And that is what really makes this game stand out from the crowd, let alone the amazing visual and art style, which I'll go on to. This is not the sort of game I usually play. I tend to stick to open world RPGs, turn-based RPGs, or third-person action games, and FIFA. That's kind of what I play. Occasionally, and obviously sometimes platformers and 2D kind of side-scrolling indie games. I am not a fan of third top-down games. I don't like the way they play. I find the combat's often clanky and doesn't work, and just isn't fun to play with. This game is maybe negate all those feelings about these sorts of games, and maybe I should give more of them a go. From what I understand, it's one of the best at what it does, but it does it so well that it's hard to ignore, and it lends itself extremely well to being a Switch game. There are games, and I keep saying it. People go to me, "Oh, you've become such a big Switch fan." I've only had it a few months still, and I think I'm going to do my own favorite games on the Switch because I think they're different to most people's. So I think that it it lends itself so well because it works amazingly well as a handheld game and still looks really great when you're playing on the big screen. What's made it different is often when I'm playing handheld games, I'm in the garden listening to music, I'm watching TV, or I'm in bed, so no, I don't really have the volume on, I don't listen. This game is very different. I wanted to listen. What I was, oh God, I'm stuttering so much. Often when I play the Switch in bed, I think, oh, I'm missing out on reading. Should I be doing something more educational, but something more relaxing than playing a game? This game is almost like a story, and that's why it works so well as a handheld. It's almost like playing through a very difficult book, or reading a really awesome comic because of this art style it has. The story is such a big part of the game, which is what really makes it appealing to me because I love games with good story, and or either good story or good combat. And fortunately, this has both. And again, I'll say it again, really amazing art style. Is that the family have to go out and fight, and you start off as, I think it's the brother of the Nan and his daughter, I believe they are. There's a big family, and there's another one you unlock. You unlock more and more and more. The one after that is the son, who becomes like a thief. But what was really cool is you go to the dungeon, and it's hard. I've been playing it for a fair few hours now, and I've only got past the first couple of levels. It's a difficult game. Like no matter how good you are, I'm playing on normal and I'm finding it difficult, and that's because you have to get used to the way the game plays. It's kind of like horde mode where you're going through the dungeon. You'll be seeing some images here, edited by a lovely map, by the way, or video footage even. And you have to be clever because each character plays very differently. So, for example, I'm going off many tangents here, but I hope you get the idea of the game by the end of the video. You start off as the warrior, the son. I started off the story, didn't I? This has gone a bit crazy. Start off the warrior, who's the son, and he's the one you start as, he's gone into the forest, found the darkness, he wants to defeat it. And then there's this Nan who has all this knowledge. She knows all about the bad demons. She knows how to fight them, etc., etc. And there's a granddad who is basically the blacksmith of the family, and he's the trainer. So you go back, and he's the one who's upgrading your weapons and stuff. The whole point is getting gold or gems to get items, upgrade your family, and also skill points to upgrade your family, to then get better and get further in the dungeon. Eventually make it to the boss, get to the next level, etc., etc. But it's difficult. You're constantly hoarded? No, you're not hoarded. Bombarded by big groups of enemies, and you need to use your area attacks. You need to block. You need to hide. You need to use the power-ups you pick up to get through and just be clever about it. You know when you get to a certain area, there's a barrier, and you're safe when you go through that. And often that's either a pickup, a power-up, or a story point. So there'll be you'll meet like a I don't know, like a bunch of soldiers that have been killed by the monsters. Or there was one part where there was a wolf cub who I then took back to the house. So how the family now bring it up, like I don't know, but I reckon that might play into the story later on. But what's really cool is I'm dying. I'm not completing these levels. It is roguelite, so every time you go in, the dungeon's slightly different. You're not playing the same level over and over again. But what's cool is you die, but if you've gotten far enough to get one of those bits of story, it comes back in and the family will interact with that. They'll talk about that. You come back and the daughter's playing with the dog, for example, or they talk, the nan's like, oh, which village did they attack now? Because of the soldiers you've just found. It's very clever. And that's what makes you feel like you want to keep playing more, because you want to keep learning more about this family story, who essentially are a family of monster hunters. Hence the name. You know, they're a family of monster hunters who have been tasked with taking down this darkness, and in their house there's like a little portal thing. You go down some steps, you go through a portal, and that's what takes you to the level. So it's all very connected. Like I said, then you collect gold, you go back, and the granddad upgrades you. But what I really liked was the upgrades for the gold applies to the whole family, but then you go in, you're playing as one of the particular characters, and their skills are individual. But once you get X amount of skills, so every 2, 3, 4 skills you unlock, they then unlock a family bonus. So one would be, you know, tougher defense. One would be more increased dodge chance.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Or, you know, more critical attacks, you know, more powerful ranged attacks or whatever. But you don't get that until you've played with that family member for through a fair few deaths. But then that kind of benefits the whole family. And I started as a warrior, and I really wanted to be good as him because I always play defensively in most games. If I've got a choice, I'm a defensive warrior who might cast a bit of magic. That's just the way I like playing games, if I've given a choice, like I said. So I started as him, and I just couldn't get on with it. I upgraded him, I spent loads of gold, I tried to keep going, and I was like, it's just not, you know, it's not doing well enough for me. So then I played more of the story as the sister or daughter or sister, or the woman who's an archer. And I was doing it, but it was difficult because she's ranged. So it was completely different style of playing to the guy, because he's up close, shield and sword. She's ranged, but the monster's still coming at you. So you have to learn how to get the right artifacts, get the right kind of area attacks, and attack them from afar whilst taking cover, or else you just get decimated. But then playing as her, I eventually then unlocked the son, who's a thief. So he's, you know, twin daggers, loads of dodging, critical attacks. And you kind of just going for it and basically survive as long as possible. But I found that he managed to stay alive longer. I think it's because he could dodge more. But when I got to the boss, he died easier. So I used the combination of the three until I got the warrior to a good enough overall level with all of his different abilities. And, you know, family bonuses and the upgraded health, upgraded damage you unlock as the family. Then he defeated the boss, and I took him through. And then there's the next bit, etc., etc. But what's great is that, like I said, you're wasting your time. A lot of these sorts of games, like roguelites and you know, Dark Soulsy games, I mean, in terms of experience, where you're just dying and getting experience to get through. A lot of these sorts of games, I find, don't reward you well enough when you're going through to the next part. or there's not much to do. Whereas because this has the constant upgrading, the family bonuses, the constant story, you want to keep playing it. You do. You just don't want to stop. I don't want to stop playing it. And it's got me off of Indivisible, which I was playing last week, which I loved. But now playing this because I can't get enough. And actually, I was also playing Octopath Traveler. It's got me off of that because it's just so fun to play. Like I've said a couple of times about power ups. You get all sorts. You get obelisks which drop from the ground to distract enemies. So, for example, against the boss, that was really helpful because it did this pound attack. It was a big spider, but when I dropped it, it did it on that instead, and I could just attack it. So you're having to think about how to defeat things. There's like shields which damage all the enemies around you. There's frenzy attacks where you can use all your power ups and you're more powerful overall. There are spiraling orbs which kind of spin around your body and kill everyone around you. I mean, there's all sorts. There are so many power ups which are really awesome and you need to collect to get through. And all of this great story and great combat is narrated wonderfully. I didn't look at the name of who was narrating it, so that might be in the video. I don't know. And there's a story which is read, and it's like the characters don't speak themselves. It's narrated as a book, which works so wonderfully, and it was almost peaceful in the breaks between combat when I went back to the family and there was a part of the story read to me. And as I said, I'm not playing this game on mute. I'm listening to it. It sounds amazing. It looks amazing. You'll be seeing the art style here. It's almost like someone who's really, really amazing at Microsoft Paint, like, God level Microsoft Painter made this game. I don't know what the style's called, but it's like 1 million bit. It's just fluid and it's like painted and it looks fantastic, and the monsters design's great. You'll have spiders which burst open into like little spiders will burst out and they'll be shooting acid, and then you'll have skeleton archers who are powered up and coming at you, and there's like trolls and orcs and things like that, all those sorts of bad little weird monsters. And everything starts as this little purple sludge, but the animation is really cool because the purple sludge is like a little ball, and then like next thing you know, you're facing one which is got your arms and legs and attacking you more, but you can almost see the evolution from the blob in the way it's made. And yeah, the world they created is absolutely just beautiful. So yeah, this game is awesome. It's changed my mind yet again. Not changed my mind, blah, blah, blah. Yet again, it showed me how great indie games can be and shouldn't be ignored. It is the perfect Switch game because I think that indie games should be played on Switch. I've got my PS4 for the big AAAs and all that sort of thing. But this sort of game is just the perfect handheld for me. And again, it does work well on the big screen. It looks amazing. The combat's brilliant. The story's great. And to be honest, there really isn't anything I can fault it on. I'm trying to find reasons not for it to be a 10, which seems insane. It's a little bit too difficult at times, but even that lends itself back to the story, and you're dying and going and getting more story from the family, which benefits you more. So surely it's almost faultless. I'm playing on normal, like I said. I don't know what it'd be like on hard. I'm going to give it a 9. I think you should all go out and play it. Just like Indivisible, it's an indie game that can't be ignored, and it's going to get recognised. So yes, Children of Morta gets 9 out of 10 from me. As I play more and complete the game, in the next couple of weeks, if I change my score, I'll let you guys know. Expect lots more Switch videos soon, as that's what I'm playing. As always, please like the video, comment, subscribe to our channel for all the video game news. The website is more varied. It's got more TV and music, and we're going to start doing a wrestling thing soon on there. So if you like wrestling, keep an eye out on the channel, on the website even, or the channel. There's videos about all sorts in here. Please keep watching our stuff and stay safe. And wash your hands, you dirty pig.
You should wash your hands, you dirty pig.